Welcome to the Pi Martins class story. Again, we're reading The World's Best Teachers. On page 92 is Mr. James. Anyway, we are recording this in the up in the IT suites today as a change, a bit of a change of venue while the year sixes disappear. Right, let's see what this lovely teacher has in store for us today. Miss Conceit thought of herself as a work of art. Though with her electric blue boots, orange hat, yellow dress, flowery pink scarf and black and white tights, she looked more like a licorice allsort. She taught art at school. That was the definition of ordinary. Humdrum High School. The school was colourless, except for one room, the art room. That was an explosion of colour, as Miss Conceit had made it a shrine to herself. Pictures of her adorned the walls. The teacher had humbly added herself into the most fabulous paintings of all time. Here she was as Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. There was a Jonas Vermeer's Girl with the Pearl Earring, Frida Kahlo's self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbird. Now had Miss Conceit's face staring back at you. Sandra Bottiglio's The Birth of Venus was renamed The Birth of Miss Conceit. One of Georgia O'Keeffe's flowers suddenly had Miss Conceit's face right at the centre of it. She became bored for Edward Munch's The Scream. Vincent van Gogh's famous self-portrait with the bandage of his ear became a portrait of Miss Conceit with a plaster on her ear. All those different portraits where she has put herself. Tamara Lemica's Tamara in the Green Bugatti was reimagined as Miss Conceit as in a brown Mini. Perhaps most startling of all was a Miss Conceit's edition of herself surfing Katashuka's Hokoshi ironic The Great Wave. I'm sure that's probably said the wrong way, but anyway. In the centre of the classroom stood a larger-than-life size sculpture. It was Michelangelo's David, but now it had her face chiselled on it and was renamed Miss Conceit's Miss Conceit. All that the children were allowed to paint was her. This she would make them do over and over again until they finally captured, as she called it, immense beautifulness. Her poor pupils missed break time and lunch time, had to stay behind for hours after school, and even missed weekends until these artworks of herself met her approval. It was as if she was an Egyptian pharaoh and they were her slaves, working night and day to immortalize her. One day there was an announcement on the television news of a nationwide children's art contest. Every school in the country was invited to take part in the children's art competition knockout, or CACK for short. I think that spells CAC. Miss Conceit was in the staff room when she saw the news. She was so thrilled she spat her coffee all over the headmaster, Mr. Dower, who was quietly getting on with his crossword. Yuck! Yes! Exclaimed Miss Conceit. She began skipping around the classroom. Da-dee-dum, dee-dee-da, dee-dee-da. Soon everyone at Humdrum High knew how thrilled she was. She cartwheeled down the corridor. She danced in the dining room. She pogoed in the playground. She limboed in the library. She high-kicked in the history room. She foxtrotted on the football pitch. She strutted around the science block. She cha-cha'd around the climbing frame. She tiptoed through the toilets. Her and her skipping around everywhere. Miss Conceit knew this competition could be the making of her. Now she wouldn't just be a legend in her own school. The whole world would know who she was. Miss Conceit was finally being heralded as the greatest art teacher who ever lived. Humdrum High could be demolished and replaced by a giant gold statue of her. The rules of the CACK competition were simple. Children from each school had to work together to create a piece of art. It could be a painting or a sculpture or whatever they chose. The winning piece would be displayed in a gallery of great and good art, or GAGA for short. Gaga. So, on the morning that the competition was announced, Miss Conceit waltzed on to the stage at the Humdrum High School assembly. Children, it is I, your humblest art teacher, Miss Conceit, she began. There were groans from some of the kids in the hall. Oh! They didn't believe a word of it. She just pretended to be humble, as people often did. Miss Conceit was also as humble as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Others simply yawned. The teacher was such a bum-numbling bore, after all. As you may have witnessed on your television boxes this very morning, she continued, as the school art competition has been announced. The Children's Art Competition Knockout, for short, CACK. Ha 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 ha. All the kids were laughing now, though Miss Conceit had no idea why. The prize is the hottest money or fame, both of which, as you know, I shun. Another groan from the kids. For me, the great mentor's prize is posterity, a place in the GAGA. More laughter. Again, Miss Conceit had no idea why this was so funny. Now, I want every single one of you inspirational, magnificent, wondermental children to be part of this. To make the Humdrum High celebrated on every corner of this planet that we do call Earth. The kids were not happy. This was yet more work for them. Do we have to? Not fair. She always makes us do extra work. It's always about her. Can't she just disappear up her own bottom? I would rather eat my sock. Wonderment, wonderment, called the teacher, as if they had been cheering at her. Now I want you, the kids, to shout out and tell me what you think of the school work of an artment should be. A ripple of excitement passed through the school. This seemed like a marvellous opportunity to be naughty. Best of all, if all the kids were naughty, the teachers wouldn't be able to punish them. You can't put the whole school in detention. Unless, of course, you're Miss C. More of that later in the book. How about a sculpture of a giant bogey made entirely of snot? Shouted a voice from the back. Bit more laughing. Miss Conceit's face turned sour. Properment. Suggestions only, please. No, 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 called someone from the middle of the sea of naughtiness. How about we make a model of the school using only foot cheese? More laughing. That is not in the least bit funnyless. I know, hollered a voice from somewhere, though nobody could see where. We should all paint a ginormous bottom burp in different shades of brown. More laughing. You are not taking this seriously, society. This is art. The art teacher was not in the least bit amused, even if every single person in the hall was. More laughing. Even her fellow teachers were chortling away. They found her deeply annoying too. Settlement down, please, shouted the teacher. Eventually, order was restored. Good, good. Now, I think we had quite enoughment of silly suggestibles. So I, Miss Conceit, your humblest art teacher, will decidable the work of the archment will be of... Miss Conceit left a long pause for dramatic effect. Me? Boo! No! Vix! Not again! What a colossal surprise! Shouted the kids. Even the stern-faced Mr. Dower, who had been soaked in the staff room, added his voice to the chorus of disapproval. What a load of booby plop-plops, was his verdict, as he mopped the last puts of Miss Conceit's coffee off his ear. Of course, this was what the art teacher had intended all along, for the artwork to be about her. Fabulosity! That's all settled then. We will assemblement in the ground of play, every break time and every lunch time until its finishment. I think we might leave it there to see how she goes about that.
Nasty.